Welcome back to Sacred Resilience, the space where we explore the impact of trauma and the courage it takes to heal. Today we're talking about something that too often goes unseen and unheard: the invisible scars left by verbal and emotional abuse. Unlike physical wounds, these don't leave bruises on the skin, but they can leave lasting imprints on the heart, mind, and even our sense of safety in the world. Emotional and verbal abuse can be hard to define because it often hides in everyday interactions. It's the belittling comment disguised as a joke, the constant criticism, the threats of abandonment, the control through silence or rage. When this becomes the air someone breathes day after day, it chips away at self-worth and creates a world where walking on eggshells feels normal. Unlike a single traumatic event, emotional abuse is often repeated and chronic. It's a drip, drip, drip effect. Each insult or manipulation slowly eroding a person's sense of self until the victim begins to question their own reality. Many people associate PTSD with combat or a single violent event, but emotional abuse can also trigger PTSD. Why? Because the brain doesn't just respond to physical danger. It responds to perceived danger, humiliation, and chronic stress. Over time, the nervous system becomes stuck in high alert. A slammed door, a raised voice, even silence can ignite the same fear response as if the abuser were still present. Survivors may relive these moments as if they are happening again, because the brain hasn't learned that it's now safe. Another way trauma shows up is through behaviors that look very much like ADHD. Survivors may find themselves struggling to focus, zoning out during conversations, feeling restless, or bouncing between tasks without finishing them. This isn't because they're lazy or scatterbrained. It's because the brain, after abuse, is trained to constantly scan for danger. When your nervous system is stuck in survival mode, paying attention to everyday tasks becomes incredibly difficult. Hypervigilance, always being on guard, can look like impulsivity. Disassociation, checking out when the stress is too high, can look like daydreaming. Even memory lapses, forgetting simple things, can be trauma's way of protecting the mind from overwhelm. Sometimes this gets mislabeled as ADHD, and while some people may truly have both, it's important to know that trauma itself can mimic these symptoms. Naming this matters because the way forward isn't about shame, it's about compassion. Understanding that your brain adapted to survive gives you the power to gently retrain it to thrive. For some, the impact of abuse goes even further. Agoraphobia, often misunderstood as simply a fear of leaving the house, can grow from trauma. If home was the place of abuse, stepping outside may actually feel terrifying. If the abuser's voice still lives inside, the world itself feels unsafe. Agoraphobia is about control, avoiding spaces, people, or experiences that might trigger the fear again. Survivors may stay inside because it feels safer. But in truth, it is trauma teaching the brain danger is everywhere. Healing begins with recognition, realizing that words can wound deeply, that being told, "it's just in your head," is part of the gaslighting survivors face. Seeking help through therapy, support groups, or trauma-informed care can slowly untangle the patterns the abuse created. Recovery from PTSD, ADHD-like trauma symptoms, or agoraphobia isn't about just getting over it. It's about retraining the nervous system, learning safety again, and reclaiming the self that abuse tried to silence. You are not weak for struggling. You're strong for surviving. And with time, compassion, and the right support, the walls that trauma built can come down. If you recognize yourself in today's episode, I want to remind you, your experience is valid. The fear you feel makes sense in the light of what you endured, but you're not broken. You're healing. Step by step, breath by breath, You can reclaim the freedom that was always yours. Remember, resilience is not about never breaking. It's about how you rise again. This is Sacred Resilience. Until next time, be gentle with yourself.
You said sit back down where you belong, in the corner of my bar with your high heels on. Sit back down on the couch where we made love the first